All right, so looks like we're really diving deep into some brain power boosting this time with this Genius Wave program.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, we've got excerpts here from the Genius Wave, Unlocking Peak Cognitive Performance Through Digital Technology from the Health Knowledge Base, published just a few days ago on October 23, 2024.
Okay.
A lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
So let's break this down a little bit.
Okay.
What exactly is this Genius Wave, and what does it promise?
Well, it's a digital program that uses sound
Okay.
to influence your brainwave patterns.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a workout for your brainwave.
I like that.
The idea is to stimulate those brainwave frequencies that are associated with focus, creativity, even relaxation.
Okay.
They claim it can improve memory, boost learning, sharpen problem-solving skills,
Okay.
and even help with stress reduction.
Hold on, brainwave frequencies.
Right.
You're going to have to remind me what those are all about.
Sure, so think of it like this. Your brain is constantly producing electrical activity, and this activity can be measured in the form of brain waves.
Okay.
These waves oscillate at different frequencies, and each frequency range
Okay.
corresponds to a different mental state.
Okay, I'm following so far.
Yep.
So what are the different types of brain waves, and what do they tell us about what's going on in our heads?
Well, you've got delta waves,
Okay.
which are the slowest and are associated with deep sleep.
Okay.
Then there are theta waves, which
Uh-huh.
are linked to relaxation, meditation, and that dreamy state right before you fall asleep.
Ah.
Alpha waves come into play when you're calm but alert.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that relaxed focus you get when you're engrossed in a good book.
Yeah.
Beta waves are faster and are associated with active thinking,
Okay.
problem solving, and focused attention.
Gotcha.
And finally, you have gamma waves,
Okay.
the fastest of all,
Wow.
which are linked to those moments of peak cognitive performance, insight, and high-level processing.
It's like our brains are constantly switching gears depending on what we're doing.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It is.
So how does this Genius Wave program actually work? Does it like blast you with these different brain waves?
No, not exactly.
Oh.
The Genius Wave uses a technique called brainwave entrainment.
Okay.
Essentially, it plays specific sounds
Okay.
that encourage your brain to synchronize its own brainwave activity with the frequency of the sound.
So it's like guiding your brain into a desired state using sound.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
It is pretty interesting.
What kinds of sounds are we talking about here?
Primarily binaural beats and isochronic tones.
Okay.
Binaural beats happen when you hear two slightly different frequencies, one in each ear.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain then perceives the third beat,
Oh, wow.
which is the difference between those two frequencies,
Okay.
and tries to synchronize its own activity to that beat.
Okay.
Isochronic tones, on the other hand, are regular pulses of sound that can also entrain your brainwaves.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like your brain is being gently nudged into a different rhythm. But how does AI factor into all of this? The article mentioned that the Genius Waves incorporate some pretty high-tech stuff.
Right. The Genius Wave boasts AI-powered frequency modulation,
Okay.
which means it can actually adapt the sound frequencies in real time
Oh, wow.
based on how your brain is responding.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
So it's not just a static soundtrack. It's like having a personal brainwave DJ, constantly remixing the tunes to keep your brain in the zone.
That's a great way to put it.
It's a level of personalization that's pretty unique in the world of brainwave entrainment.
Yeah, definitely.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
So by playing these sounds, it claims to be able to shift your brain into a state that's better suited for focus or creativity or whatever you're trying to achieve.
Right.
That's a bold claim.
It is.
But is there any real science to back it up?
That's what we're here to find out.
Okay.
The article does cite a number of studies that suggest brainwave entrainment can have a real impact on cognitive function. For example, some research has shown that listening to binaural beats in the theta frequency range can enhance relaxation and reduce anxiety.
Really?
And there are studies suggesting that certain frequencies can improve focus and attention.
So there's at least some evidence that this stuff can actually work.
It seems like it, yeah.
This is where it gets really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
If we could train our brains to be more focused, more creative, more relaxed, on demand, just imagine the possibilities.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating concept.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's delve into the specifics of what the Genius Wave claims to do.
Okay.
What are some of the key benefits it promises, and what kind of evidence do they present to support those claims?
Well, they highlight a range of potential benefits from improved focus and memory to enhanced creativity and stress reduction.
Okay.
They even have specific soundtracks designed for different goals like
Hmm.
brainstorming deep relaxation or sleep enhancement.
Okay, so there's a whole menu of brainwave options.
Yeah, you can say that.
But before we start ordering, we need to examine the evidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty bold claims.
Right.
So let's dig into the evidence they offer.
Okay.
The article mentions several studies that caught my eye.
Yeah.
One study found that participants who listened to beta-frequency binaural beats showed improvements in memory recall
Mm-hmm.
and attention.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about subjective feelings of focus, there's actual measurable improvement in cognitive performance.
Exactly. And there's another study they cited that looked at the effects of alpha wave entrainment on creativity.
Okay.
Participants who listened to alpha-frequency binaural beats performed better on tasks measuring divergent thinking.
Okay.
That's the kind of thinking associated with brainstorming and coming up with new ideas.
So if I'm stuck on a project, maybe blasting some alpha waves could help me break through that creative block.
Maybe.
But what about real-world applications? Do they have any examples of how the genius wave is actually being used?
They do.
Okay.
They highlight a few case studies that are pretty intriguing. One case study involved a tech company that incorporated the Genius Wave into their employee wellness program.
Okay.
They reported a significant increase in employee productivity
Wow.
and a decrease in self-reported stress levels.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not just theoretical, there are companies actually putting this technology to use in the workplace.
Right.
What other case studies did they mention?
Another one focused on a university that used the Genius Wave with a group of students.
Okay.
The students who used the program during their study sessions showed improvements in their exam scores
Wow.
and reported feeling less anxious during tests.
Okay, so we've got some promising research and some intriguing case studies.
Right.
It sounds like the Genius Wave might actually live up to the hype.
Yeah, it's definitely promising.
But let's play devil's advocate for a moment.
Okay.
Are there any potential downsides or risks associated with this kind of technology? Did the article address that at all?
It did touch on safety briefly.
Oh.
It states that brainwave entrainment, when used responsibly,
That.
has not been shown to have any harmful side effects.
Okay, good.
However, they do advise against using it while driving or operating heavy machinery.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You probably don't want your brainwaves drifting into a relaxed alpha state while you're behind the wheel.
Exactly.
Anything else to be cautious about?
They emphasize the importance of using the program in a quiet environment
Okay.
and starting with shorter sessions to allow your brain to adjust.
Right.
They also recommend consulting with a healthcare professional if you have any pre-existing neurological conditions.
Those are all good points. It's important to remember that everyone's brain is different,
Yeah.
and what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly.
And as with any new technology, it's always wise to err on the side of caution.
For sure.
But if this technology is as safe and effective as it seems, it could be a game changer.
It really could.
Imagine being able to harness the power of your brainwaves to improve your focus, creativity, and overall well-being.
It's definitely a fascinating prospect.
But it is.
And it raises some interesting questions about the future of cognitive enhancement.
Right.
Are we on the cusp of a new era where technology can help us unlock our full cognitive potential?
That's a big question.
It is a big question.
And one that deserves careful consideration.
For sure.
Before we jump into that, I'm curious about something. The article focused mainly on the Genius Wave.
Right.
But are there any other approaches to cognitive enhancement out there?
Absolutely. There's a whole range of techniques, both with and without technology.
Oh, okay.
For example, there's neurofeedback, which uses real-time displays of your brainwave activity to help you learn to self-regulate your brainwaves.
Okay.
And then there's transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS,
Okay.
which uses magnetic pulses to stimulate specific areas of the brain.
Okay, so we're talking about some serious high-tech brain boosting here.
Yeah.
What about the low-tech options?
Well, there are some surprisingly simple but effective methods like mindfulness meditation.
Right.
Regular meditation practice has been shown to improve focus, attention, and emotional regulation.
Right, so it's not just about fancy gadgets and soundtracks.
Right.
There are things we can do in our everyday lives to enhance our cognitive abilities.
Exactly.
But it's this intersection of technology and neuroscience that really captures my imagination.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
Where do you think this field is headed?
Well, it's evolving rapidly, and it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
but I think we can expect to see even more personalized and sophisticated tools for cognitive enhancement in the coming years.
This is really making me think.
Yeah.
If we have the power to enhance our cognitive abilities, what does that mean for society as a whole?
It's a big question.
Will it create new opportunities
Possibly.
or exacerbate existing inequalities?
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
It is.
As with any powerful technology, there's the potential for both positive and negative impacts.
Right.
It's up to us as a society to ensure that these technologies are developed and used responsibly and ethically.
I couldn't agree more. Well, this deep dive has certainly given us a lot to ponder.
It has.
We've explored the science behind the genius wave, examined the evidence for its claims, and delved into the broader landscape of cognitive enhancement.
And we've just scratched the surface.
Right.
It's a vast and fascinating field with endless possibilities.
It's a bit mind-blowing to think about the potential here.
Yeah.
If we could unlock even a fraction of our untapped cognitive power, who knows what we could achieve?
Exactly.
And that's what makes these deep dives so exciting.
It is.
We get to explore the cutting edge of knowledge and grapple with some of the biggest questions facing humanity.
It's a journey of discovery.
Exactly. And we're all in this together. You, our incredible listener, included.
Right.
So before we wrap up this episode, we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. If you had the power to enhance any aspect of your cognitive abilities, what would it be and why? Let us know your thoughts on our social media channels. And until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
It's amazing to think about all the different ways we can enhance our cognitive abilities.
Yeah.
From like high-tech gadgets to,
Great.
ancient practices like
Definitely.
modification.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up our deep dive into the genius wave, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about the potential societal impacts of these technologies.
Yeah.
What kind of ethical considerations do we need to be thinking about?
Well, that's a crucial question. We're talking about technologies that could potentially have a profound impact on how we think, learn, even interact with the world around us as these technologies become more sophisticated and more widely available.
Yeah.
It's essential that we have open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks. Absolutely. We need to ensure that these technologies are developed and used responsibly.
Right.
What are some of the key concerns that come to mind for you?
One of the biggest concerns is the potential for these technologies to exacerbate existing social and economic inequalities.
Okay.
If access to cognitive enhancement tools becomes stratified, it could create a divide between those who can afford these tools and those who cannot.
That's a sobering thought. We already see this happening with access to education, healthcare, and technology in general. If cognitive enhancement becomes another area where the wealthy have an advantage, it could have far-reaching consequences for social mobility and equality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And beyond the issue of access, there are questions about autonomy and consent as these technologies become more powerful.
Right.
It's essential to ensure that individuals have the right to choose whether or not to use them. We need to avoid a future where people feel pressured to use cognitive enhancement tools just to keep up in school and workplace or in society in general.
Right. You don't want to create a situation where people feel like they have to use it just to stay competitive.
It's almost like a sci-fi scenario where people are forced to enhance their brains just to compete.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to head down that path.
No.
But on a more optimistic note, what are some of the potential upsides of these technologies? Could they be used to level the playing field instead of tilting it further?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a real opportunity here to use these technologies to address cognitive disparities and empower individuals who face cognitive challenges. For example, imagine using brainwave entrainment to help students with ADHD improve their focus and attention.
Right.
Or to assist individuals recovering from brain injuries to regain lost cognitive function.
Those are incredibly hopeful applications. It's exciting to think about the potential for these technologies to not only enhance human potential, but also to address some of the challenges that people face.
It's a really powerful tool.
But to get there, we need to proceed thoughtfully and ensure that ethical considerations are at the forefront of our development and implementation.
I completely agree. We need to involve a wide range of stakeholders in these
Oh,
conversations. Neuroscientists, ethicists, policymakers,
hmm
and of course the public,
right.
to ensure that these technologies are developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Well said. This deep dive has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We started by exploring this fascinating program, the Genius Wave,
Mhm.
and ended up grappling with some of the biggest questions about the future of humanity and technology.
It's a testament to the power of curiosity
Absolutely.
and the importance of staying informed about these emerging technologies
Right.
that have the potential to reshape our world.
You said it. And that's what we strive to do here on the Deep Dive. We want to empower you, our listeners, with the knowledge and insights you need to navigate this complex and rapidly evolving world.
We encourage you to continue the conversation.
Yes.
Share your thoughts, your hopes, and your concerns about cognitive enhancement technologies with us and with each other. These are conversations that we need to have as a society.
Absolutely. So keep those brains buzzing and join us next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of knowledge and discovery.